Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto anime review. This one's going to be for episode 261. So this was actually a really fun episode. It seems to be the start of a new arc here. We're going for, I guess, at least a couple of episodes. I don't know how long it's going to be. But interestingly, it is a sort of academy focused arc in that, okay, Himawari is starting at the academy, but Kawaki is there too. But they pretty quickly get around to the idea that, unlike what you maybe thought from the preview, he is there because of other reasons beyond just that, like, he didn't go to the academy, he maybe needs to catch up on some skills. That seems like a sort of minor benefit that could happen. The main reason he is also in this academy class with all these much younger characters is that he has been tasked with basically being a bodyguard for one of the new sort of foreign exchange students, Kei, who is sort of our kind of brand new character for this arc that seems to be getting a bit of focus. For this episode, they don't go too much in depth into what's going on with her, other than that obviously she's a princess from a land that is allied with the Land of Fire. And she's here as a foreign exchange student, mainly because she needs to be kept safe. There are people who want to kill her. And there's a few teases in this episode about kind of more to her character, in that initially she acts like the sort of typical princess who, you know, speaks well, represents the nation well, but people don't really, I suppose, get too much a sense for what she's about. You can see she seems to deal somewhat well with like the media attention that she gets, but behind the scenes they sort of have this more subtle reveal that she wants to be a little bit more normal, that being the perfect princess is a bit of an act that she puts on to represent the family well. She actually, you know, I suppose, likes to eat different food, and you know, she calls Kawaki like a weirdo and actually is interested in becoming his friend. And so it's just getting across the idea that, like, she has some slightly unusual elements herself, which I'm assuming we will get into in the coming episodes. But for now, it was a relatively subtle shift of like Kawaki being like, oh, so this is what you're really like. I guess it was more just that she's speaking her mind here, whereas she maybe doesn't feel like she can in front of everyone else in case she says something that reflects poorly on the family. The highlight of this episode, I thought going in it would be Himawari focused, with sort of Kawaki as like the sort of fun side thing, when actually it's kind of reversed. It's the Kawaki and Kei stuff that is in the focus, and then the Himawari stuff is in the background. But it looks, as of the end of this episode, like they are bringing Himawari in that it's meant to be a secret mission that basically only the high-ups in the Leaf Village know about, and Kawaki. But now, as of the end of the episode, Himawari has overheard the conversation with Kawaki and Naruto. She maybe doesn't know the full scope of things, but I'm assuming this will just bring her on board. So she will be sort of basically assisting Kawaki with this. And I think that's probably a good move, just so she doesn't have to be so separated from the main plot. Because for the most part, it seems like she's going to the academy. She wants to kind of improve her skills. There's still that slight sense that Himawari is focusing more on, like, you know, I had fun at the trial and I want to see where things go. She maybe hasn't fully committed to what exactly she wants to do, but you know, she showed some good information gathering skills there to, you know, spy on Naruto and Kawaki. So this, I think, will solidify that. And she already seems to have, you know, her other two friends from the trial there. They're also in the academy here. There's a few other characters that we get introduced to. Mainly, was it Eiji, who is the son of like an elite police force member. And then I forget her name, but it was what the daughter of the main guy in the films, the ninja films that we've got relatively recently. So his daughter is also in the academy, and she's sort of framed as the sort of jealous popular girl who is being outshone by the new princess that has just joined. So for now, like, they're setting up some reasonable kind of little plots here. Towards the middle of the episode, they're going for this idea of like, oh, Kawaki, you need to become friends with her so you can be around her closer to protect her better. And so a lot of the focus of the episode is basically, how does Kawaki, who is not known for being particularly nice or getting along with people that well, how is he going to make friends with someone? So he just is like, hey, I want to talk to you, like, let's be friends. He just wants to do that very basic thing. But because he's much older than everyone else, he sort of intimidates them, especially because he interpreted like advice from Naruto, I suppose, to give sort of a funny intro to himself, and he sort of screamed it out to the point where it came across as being too aggressive. So everyone thinks he's kind of weird, scary, and aggressive, which was not the thing he wanted to get across. This, I suppose, is where we get the idea that like AG kind of has a crush on Kei, and so there's a little bit of a rivalry there, because people seem to interpret Kawaki as almost asking Kei out, and he obviously misinterprets like the way it was said to him, and he's like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. But they seem to quickly get past that, and I suppose as of the end of the episode, they probably will still have AG, at least maybe for a little bit of this arc, still be the sort of one who's suspicious of Kawaki. But for the most part, you would have to say like Kawaki handled this mission relatively well, given like where his skills lie and don't lie. When he was challenged to the fight, he just dodged and didn't do anything himself, so he didn't get himself into trouble there. And then when like he actually took Himawari's advice of like, if you want to become friends with Kei, just show an interest in the things that she likes, and he goes out and buys a book. Now, I initially thought that the romance book that he bought, he was going to be something that he reads, but actually he just gives it to her later on as like a gift. So the main thing we get from this is that actually Kei at the start is one of the only ones in the class to actually find Kawaki's like funny outburst when he introduces himself actually interesting. And so she does want to talk to him, but it would go against sort of the persona that she has to sort of show. And it's only when he sort of like comes across her just sort of like talking to herself out loud, and that she talks about how like she feels sort of restricted with what she can do with the media attention, and she does want to make friends, and she actually would like to talk to Kawaki. That's when it comes out, and we get the interaction between the two. He protects her from the AG summoning scroll thing that went wrong. So it seems like he's gotten into position correctly for the role that he needs to take on. And then the setup for the bigger plot here is that something seems like it's going to happen relatively soon that means she will not have any freedom anymore. Now, that seems to like suggest that even if she survives like the potential assassination attempts, that she will just be put in a position where like she can't do anything. She talks about how her home nation is like stifling, and she likes the freedom of being here. So maybe there's some sense that the way the land is being ruled, her father like isn't maybe the nicest person, or isn't he wants to protect his daughter, but maybe doesn't have her overall best interests at heart or something like that. I don't think we know enough about the arc just yet to know what exactly that's really about necessarily. But what they seem to be going for is the idea that Kawaki and probably Himawari will be sort of working together to protect her. This will probably get her a few friends within the class as we go forward, and we'll see where we go from there. Next episode seems to be about some sort of a like tea party type situation, so we'll see where that goes. Ultimately, out of this arc, I think if they make something interesting with the K plot and whatever's going on there, if that maybe teaches Kawaki some sort of a lesson and he learns something for being in the academy, great. But I think I would like to see Himawari get a bit of spotlight going forward. Like, okay, she's good at the shuriken jutsu, but I'd like to see more of a sense that like she takes to being a shinobi, and there's more of a clear direction that this is exactly what she wants to do. And hopefully the ending here, bringing her into things, will work out well over the course of the arc, because that's kind of what you want from these you know, non-manga adaptation arcs, is that you want them to do something that the manga is probably never going to get the opportunity to do. And you know, it's covering Kawaki. Kawaki's one of the main characters. We're going to get Kawaki development in the manga. But what we haven't really had recently, or much at all in the manga, is Himawari focus, and that's what this arc has the potential to do. And that's why, you know, we're seeing stuff like them introducing all of these new characters, a whole new class. The new teacher even gets a little bit of a spotlight here because she's not very confident. It's her first time having a class, but it seems to be overall going okay. I did like the one scene where she's giving like a history lesson on the Hokage, and she just asks Kawaki, what do you know about like basically the history of the Hokage and the position. So she's expecting him to talk varied about a lot of them, but he just reveals that he like basically is a complete like fanboy for Naruto. Like he goes into all the details about Naruto, to the point where the only thing he seems to know about the other Hokage is just that Naruto's father was the fourth Hokage, and that's it. So that kind of slightly impresses some of the people, but then is also kind of like, how does he not know anything about the others? That was fun, and that's the big thing with this arc, is that they're making it really, really fun. It's not the most sort of in-depth content so far, in that it's not particularly clear what maybe the arcs are for all the characters just yet, but it's really fun. I was excited going into the episode. I thought it worked the whole way through, and I'm excited to see how many episodes they give this going forward. Because I'm not going to mind particularly if this is like a 10 plus episode arc, because I think the setup here is really good sort of across the board. They're not trying to do anything, at least right now, that's too deep or crazy. They're just playing on the idea of Himawari goes to the academy and some fun hijinks can happen, and that's good to have sometimes. So they're my thoughts on this opening episode of this new arc. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were, but otherwise that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.